You shut your laptop at 5 on the dot. No fires to put out, no overtime, no brutal deadlines. By every measure on your calendar, it was an easy day. So why, when you walk through your front door and drop your bags, are you completely hollowed out? We naturally try to run the math on our fatigue. We look at the emails sent, the meetings attended, the actual hours logged. But on days like this, the math doesn't add up. The workload simply does not account for the level of physical and mental exhaustion you're feeling. The drain isn't coming from your task list. It's coming from the face you wore to execute it. All day long, you are running a second job, managing your expressions, policing your tone, offering a bright, agreeable nod when you felt entirely different. This is the invisible second shift. Psychologists call this specific behavior surface acting. It happens when you fake an external display of warmth or calm while keeping your internal frustration or boredom entirely unchanged. You are separating what you show from what you actually feel. Nobody pays you for this emotional performance, and it never shows up on a schedule, but it operates as a heavy, hidden tax on your nervous system, turning an objectively light workday into a psychological trap. When your outside display and your inside reality come apart, it creates an immediate psychological strain known as emotional dissonance. This diagram shows how dissonance operates. An internal feeling, annoyance, and an external display, a polite smile, pull apart, creating a widening structural gap. To prevent them from snapping back, your brain engages in continuous suppression, silently draining your energy like a background app. Because it operates quietly in the background, there's no single brutal moment you can point to and blame for your burnout. Instead, you're carrying the cumulative weight of hundreds of tiny swallowed reactions stacked over an 8-hour shift. A massive study of frontline workers looked at who absorbs the most damage from this habit. The highest rates of emotional exhaustion didn't belong to the people who faked the most emotions. They belonged to the employees who deeply valued sincerity. If showing your true feelings is a core part of your identity, surface acting stops being a simple chore. Every fake smile becomes a continuous micro-betrayal of your own values, which effectively doubles the psychological cost of the performance. This emotional deficit rarely leaves the office when you do. Researchers who tracked workers into their evenings found that the tension required to fake emotions all day simply refuses to clock out. The strain spills directly over into your private life. It materializes as chronic insomnia, bracing for tomorrow's performance. It shows up in the extra drink, poured to force your guard down, and in the sharp realization that you have zero emotional bandwidth left to offer your family. The heaviest realization of all is that this entire performance frequently fails. Humans are equipped with highly evolved subconscious radars. We are remarkably efficient at detecting the tiny, inauthentic microexpressions that accompany a forced reaction. This diagram maps the broken social exchange. One node sends a performed signal of courtesy. The receiving node subconsciously registers the coldness underneath, instantly blocking the connection. You burn massive emotional fuel generating the signal, but receive zero actual trust in return. It makes surface acting one of the worst economic deals you can make at work. You pay the maximum psychological price to deliver a performance the recipient immediately recognizes as fake. If surface acting bankrupts your energy, and stomping around the office scowling at people isn't exactly a viable career strategy, we need a sustainable alternative. Psychologists identify a sibling strategy called deep acting. Instead of painting temporary expressions over your face, deep acting is the conscious effort to alter your internal feeling so that it actually matches the external requirement. In practice, it means pausing to deliberately reframe an interaction. When you are dealing with a difficult client, you try to view them as someone having a genuinely hard day. You aren't faking the emotion anymore. You are deliberately summoning real empathy. When organizational researchers measured the return on investment between these habits, they found distinct patterns. The people who suffered the most were the regulators, those who forced a heavy mix of both surface acting and deep acting, grinding themselves down to total exhaustion. This chart models the final outcomes. On the left, surface acting is an unrecoverable leak. Energy pours into a void. On the right, deep acting functions as an investment. The genuine warmth sent out returns amplified by supportive colleagues. Deep acting definitely requires an upfront pause and real cognitive effort. But over time, practicing this genuine reframing builds muscle memory. It eventually becomes a natural reflex, drastically reducing your daily performance load. The clearest way forward is to view your emotional warmth as a strictly finite budget. Stop spending it on forced performances that fool no one. When genuine empathy isn't possible, give yourself permission to simply remain neutral and reclaim the energy stolen by the invisible second shift.